Hi again. Welcome to Mansfield today. Once again, I'm flying solo. Jeremy is busy with some very other important matters. I want to share something with you. We've touched on this before, and it's a very important topic. It also leads in from last week's discussion about gender-based violence, violence at home, etc., etc. We're back to the topic of divorce. In the past, we've discussed divorce more in the ilk of how it's done, the procedure, etc. A number of people have approached me saying, let's speak more about why divorce is so rampant now, why it's an issue, and why there are all these issues around divorce that make it look like taboo. Well, it's not taboo. Firstly, we found now into the first quarter of this year, divorce is picking up flat out. I think a lot of it relates to COVID, post-COVID, people having lost their jobs, people having expectations of getting work again and not getting it, pressures at home, financial and otherwise, and also people being in together so long and actually learning not to love each other, not to like each other anymore. Guys, there's no reason not to get divorced. Please, it's not taboo. It's not the ideal. It'd be fantastic if we could have a long relationship like I have with my wife. We have a great relationship with all our ups and downs and arguing and fighting, but we're lucky. But if you're in an environment that is really unpleasant and aggression and fighting going on, please strongly consider finding a soft landing and exit. Another thing I'm going to share with you is a lot of people say, yeah, well, we're staying together for the kids. Children are amazingly resilient, and rather have a child or children seeing two happy parents apart from each other, having a good life, than a home where they are vicious and aggressive towards each other, and often this comes with a degree of violence. And as we discussed last week, physical violence is just one form of violence. There's a lot more. There are other forms of violence: abuse, verbal abuse, swearing at each other, demeaning each other. Be careful what you do around your children, because what you're doing there becomes their role models for the future, especially young children. The way you behave is the way they learn to behave. So I'm coming back to the point here is, don't see divorce as taboo. Not everybody has a long-term successful marriage. And people fall out of love. Times change. Financial situations change. People's interests change. Their religious inclinations change. Some people's sexual orientation changes. It's just real. So please, 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 don't see it as taboo. So let's get back to something more practical now. So how do I get divorced? If you feel your marriage has irretrievably broken down, the way forward is to do it together. It's an expensive exercise. If you are fighting in court, you get into hundreds of thousands of rands. It's money that goes to attorneys and counsel and the court process. What a waste. Very importantly, when you've got to this point and you feel we're not going to pull this off, find a neutral person to sit with you and help you through this divorce. Preferably a lawyer who will take you through it and help you with it. But don't jump at each other and each go see your own lawyer, and I got a bigger lawyer and she's got a bigger lawyer and a stronger lawyer. You will not be able to afford it. Times have changed. We don't have money lying around. Do it together. Rather save the money for your children or for each other or for your lives going forward. Question is, why does divorce cost so much? It costs so much because of that. The whole joke is, why does divorce cost so much? Because it's worth it. But that's just the funny part of it. But the real part of it is, it doesn't have to cost that much. Instead of paying 100, 200,000 Rand, you can do it for 10 or 15,000 Rand. If you sit down and work through it together, find common ground, try and sort out who gets what early on. And you know what? The more you give, the more you get. At the end of the day is why I'm having this discussion, and I've been asked to have it, is a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to be labeled as divorced. I don't want my children to come from a divorced family. I'll go back to it. Rather move apart and carry on as solid individuals than live in an environment that you're unhappy, you're both unhappy, and you create amongst your children, your family, your friends, your parents, a situation that is unpleasant and untenable. So the best approach, if you're going to get divorced, and a lot of you are going to get divorced, I'm sorry to say it, is sit down together, find a neutral person. It doesn't have to be a friend of either of you or a friend of both of you, but sometimes this person is a good conduit, doesn't cost anything, and get that person to interface with an attorney who's comfortable to sit down and do it with the two of you together. It can be a rough ride. There's a bit of back and forth and a bit of discovery and some documents you're going to have to go through, but that's very important. One more thing that I have found, and perhaps a lot of us have been amiss, try and stay in the same jurisdiction while this process is underway. If one of you moves from Johannesburg to Pretoria, or you're so pissed off with each other, one moves to Cape Town, there's a lot of cost involved in that because another party in that jurisdiction, from a legal point, has to get involved. Try and stick to one jurisdiction and get it executed there. It saves a lot of money. You don't have a sheriff going out in another area, corresponding attorneys appointed. Guys, I'm not going to belabor this too long. The real purpose of this is just to share with you is that it's not bad. It's not taboo, right? Sometimes relationships just don't work out, as in business. Do it properly, do it with care, and be kind to each other. Remember, we have a non-fault divorce system. Be kind to each other, please. All right? Don't point fingers, don't belabor it, don't accuse. When it's over, it's over. It's irretrievably broken down. Get a single attorney, single firm to attend to your matter. And good luck when you go forward in your lives. I hope that you're blessed, and I hope that you're all happy again. Thank you. Have a great, great week ahead.